Buono estente. Good morning, everybody. Alright, we're going to carry on with this ridiculous speedrun idea. I'll probably kind of refine this idea as I go a little bit. Someone said it's a dumbass idea to go deliberately kind of throwing away material. So I think what we will say is we will do it with a mind to aggression, but not playing ridiculous chess. But what I would like to do is I'd like to focus on, I don't want to go to openings that I know necessarily. So we're going to go d4, d5, right? Which I never play. I play knight f6 normally. So the idea here is that I'm not going to be relying on remembering stuff, because that's kind of silly. Well, it's not silly at all. Yes, slightly weary today. I had some beers last night and regret it, and chocolate, so I feel like crap. But anyway, so all the more reason just to slow down and play normal stuff. Okay, so my opponent has now brought out the king's pawn. That's the king's pawn. This is what we'd normally call the king's knight. Okay, so it's double defending this pawn, and I'm going to play c5. I'm going to play c5 because my opponent hasn't played c4. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to distract the central pawn like you do in the Sicilian, like, you know, e4, c5, to prevent this move, d4, from coming. And he's taken. Now I can't play e5 just yet, but if I bring my knight out here, I can prepare e5. That would then let me grab the whole centre and own all of these four squares, is what I was showing. So is there any reason why I can't play e5 now? So the point here is what we're trying to do is I'm trying to use principles and calculation and chess thinkery rather than any kind of memorization of openings. Because the truth is, although, you know, openings sell courses and everyone likes a shortcut, gets defended by the knight. Now the bishop could come out and pin the knight. Right, so yeah, everyone's attracted to kind of cheap wins from openings, and obviously I like it as much as the next man, if not more so. But the point of a speedrun is not theory, and quite honestly, theory becomes less important lower down, and here we're, you know, around the 500 mark. So what's going on here is, okay, this knight is the only defender of this pawn. This pawn is under attack. So the purpose of the bishop is to try and take out the knight. If takes and takes, this pawn is then en prise. So one option is to push e4 and actually say, all right, Mr. Knighty, joke's on you. Now, if I do that, the knight could come in here. Notice this knight is also in a pin. It cannot capture. And I can just do this, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. Let's maintain the pawn. He might come in anyway, in which case I'll put this, takes, everybody dies. Interestingly, okay, well that's slightly anticlimactic, but nice pawn chain here. Notice this pawn here is undefended. Interestingly, talking about everybody dies, guess what I watched last night for the first time? Reservoir Dogs. Like, I love Tarantino's work. I've seen Pulp Fiction countless times. I've seen Kill Bill countless times. Django Unchained, Inglourious Basterds. You know, great stuff. I've never watched Reservoir Dogs. Who'd have thunk it? Okay, well, so what's going on? Well, he's attacking this pawn, and I would like him not to have it. So, I mean, I've got queen here, for example. Can't go queen there. I've got queen there. Problem with queen e7 is it blocks in my bishop. What's the point in that? Especially seeing as this pawn's actually hanging. But I like the look of queen c7, because then I'm attacking the knight and attacking the pawn, right? So this is under attack. If I play this move, then I'm attacking that knight as well. Now, are we afraid of this? Not too bad, actually, because I think we've got g6. Oh, it's not even a check. What am I talking about? Anyway, okay, so queen c7. I attack this. I attack this. He could save them both by playing his knight back to d3, but pawn's in the way. Haha, you will get tooked. So what you gonna do? He's gonna give up his knight. Takes, drop back to here, checkmate on h2. That's the plan. I don't know what my opponent's rating is. We're both kind of new, fresh players, so... okay, so again, just this is goldfish stuff, the goldfish method. The idea of the goldfish method, you can do a search on this site for goldfish, is that we pretend that we are seeing the board for the first time, as though every move, or every turn is a puzzle. So what we do is, it's just a way of reading the board to say, okay, what's defending what, etc. So opponent is kind of slightly prematurely stopping this, but I mean, the first thing that jumps to mind is I have en passant, or I can capture en passant. I haven't yet dropped my bishop back, so there is really no threat of mate on there, but do I want to allow him to close this line over to the king side? And I don't think I do. What's interesting though as well is that because this pawn has moved from here, so this is another thing. So what has changed on each move? Well, from here, this pawn is defended twice, right? Now, after he does this, this pawn is now only defended one time, okay? And it's now pinned. Previously, it wasn't a pin. This pawn could theoretically move. I mean, it can't, legally, but now this pawn is pinned. So, were this rook not here, right? Were this rook not on these squares, okay, I could capture that pawn. Because this pawn is... Oh, what's going on now? Oh, I just hit Zen mode. There we go. So, yeah, this pawn is not defending that pawn. That's critical to remember. So I think I'm going to take en passant, because I'm up a piece and it keeps my queen centralised. Learn about this move, do not show again. Yeah, we don't want to know about that. I think I've got the hang of it so far. Okay, this is sensible because he's keeping his rooks together on the back rank. All he needs to do now is develop his bishop. So very often, given the choice, you want to do what you need to do, which in this case is get rid of that pawn, but to do it with development. Now, technically, rook takes f3 is development, but it would leave this rook without its wingman. So after queen takes, that's sensible. Now, I'd like to do this and harass the queen, but I can't. There's also another problem that black has here, and you've got to be aware that he's got two attackers, right? Queen and rook. What's defending it? Only the king, and that doesn't work. The king cannot be the last defender. So I'm thinking knight f6. That achieves a few things. It allows me to castle short, and it also prepares bishop g4 with tempo on the queen. So I'm not going to think terribly hard about that, just quick sanity check of the board. Happy days. We're up a piece. So one thing I really don't want to do on this rating ladder climb, for want of a better word, is underestimate my opponents. I shouldn't be relying on them to do stupid stuff. Of course, they're welcome to do it. Now, obviously, I'm going to... Yeah, so what's changed with that move? Well, he's attacking my bishop. Is my bishop defended? No. But I wanted to put my bishop here anyway, on d6. And now, this is not a checkmate threat, because he does have king f2. But it ain't pretty. Because actually I have that, which would then force the king there or there unless queen takes, which isn't going to happen. So, that ain't good. So if I'm allowed to do this, king here, knight here, could actually go to either of these two squares with check. And this one is defended by my bishop, you see. Interesting. So basically, he shouldn't really allow that. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. That is not a bad move. So what he's doing, is he's threatening this pawn, which is presently undefended. He's also kind of threatening my queen. So here, what I do is you just have to run through multiple scenarios. Okay, let's first of all, if I take, he takes back with the H pawn. He's got doubled G pawns, doubled and isolated, because there's no pawn here or here that can ever defend those pawns. That's going to make life hard. Also, I can capture twice with the bishop, so it's not going to be double pawns because I'll win this one. Also, my bishop on G3 will be preventing his king from going to H2 or F2, which is not bad. I have got even queen takes H3, E3 check, where it's check and a discovery on the queen, but that fails because he doesn't have to take with the bishop, he can just take with the queen. So we'll scratch that idea. Now if I was to castle here, he could just trade queens. And then, you know, I've got a nice centralized bishop, but, you know, out of those scenarios, I think taking the queen is the best, unless we can come up with something else. And I've got 8 minutes 45 left to go, so I have options here. Taking that doesn't work. I think we take the queen. I mean, another move here is like knight to here, because it hits the queen and defends this square. But then again, I think he'll just take. So, you know, for want of a better option, more coffee, landlord. There we go, come on. Okay, there we go. So I could take this now. However, we should not, boys and girls, just always snatch at the most obvious move. Because knight e4 is a nice move here. Knight e4 puts a second attacker on there. So even if the king wanted to defend, it couldn't. If the rook wanted to defend, it couldn't. Because I'm attacking it with 2 minor pieces, which are worth less than a rook. I could castle. Is there any other benefit to putting my knight on e4? Now I think I'll snatch the pawn and then I can put my knight on e4, where it then defends the bishop. It's just a different way around of doing things. And this immediately constrains the king, so now the king only has 2 squares where it can visit. And you've just done this now, so I'm thinking the first thing that springs to mind is drop my bishop back, right? Is he thinking, oh, I'm going to fianchetto? I've heard that word fianchetto, I'm going to stick my bishop on b2. I think I can just beat him to the punch here and just do that. So now I'm attacking your rook. He could block with his bishop, at which point I can trade, bringing his knight back. His knight's in a stupid place now, and it's going to be an equally stupid place. So yeah, I think I will do that, because my bishop was hanging. I would have had to have thought about something else to do. Okay, so the knight can't go here, but he can go there, he can go there. I'm thinking this still makes sense. I might just... Let's just castle for the hell of it. I'm +4 materials now. The pawns on the king's side are shattered, divided, leaderless. There is one who could unite them. He turned from that path long ago. He has chosen exile. So what I see here is potential pin. Do you see a pin? Right? Takey. If he takes back with a pawn, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 isolated pawns, right? All on these crazy, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all completely isolated. If he takes with the knight, I'm seeing bishop a6. Right? Now the knight can't move without the rook falling. I'm inclined just to take out his knight and isolate all of his pawns. Okay, well, he's got rid of that idea. So the first thing I see here is this. Can I... Sorry, the previous thing was I just wanted to check that his knight couldn't move with check. Obviously it can't, it's far too far away from my king. Anyway, so he's done this. So how long would it take me to get my knight to that square here? Well, it's possible in 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. Bit of a pain, but let's just simplify. Okay, this is under attack, it's not defended, let's defend it. I'm not going to do anything clever now. Knight here, attack the pawn. Okay, that's no longer on the cards, but I could send my knight around here. I could drop it back to here. Maybe there. I'll drop it back. There's literally nothing. All I have to do is not do something stupid. I'm going to stick my knight here, where it defends this pawn. I can defend the knight then with pawn f6. Okay, well if he comes into here, that doesn't work. I'm going to defend the knight. Also give my king a square where it can wriggle out if it needs to. That just loses a rook. That was bad calculation. He's completely lost now. Right? It looked like 2 attackers, 1 defender, you know, but it doesn't work. So there we are. Yeah. Because he's moved his rook to that square where now there are 2 attackers and 1 defender. That's the problem. Pretty clean loss there. Was he a good sport? Yes, he was indeed. I hope that was useful. I hope you found it interesting. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this. But I've enjoyed it. So I shall thank you for watching and wish you a very good day.